Hello, Steve RC9. Well, everyone's talking about the Marvels, of course. The box office is looking bad. Estimates were fairly low, like 140 for the whole weekend worldwide, but now they've lowered it to like 110. I think they're looking 80 for international, and now they're looking at more like 60. Now the film took 6.6 on Thursday, the previews, and it made 21 million on its, I think, the Friday. So they're looking at, they're kind of guessing between 45 and 55 million for the weekend, because that 21 was including the 6.6 for the Thursday, so it was more like 15. So another 30, on top of that 20. So they're looking around 45 to 55 million, which is pretty bad for I think the film cost 220 million or something. That's the last number I saw. It's probably more than that. So, I mean, I loved the way people would criticize Captain Marvel, and people would always say, it made $1 billion, it made $1 billion. It made $1 billion because they put it between the two Endgames, and people only saw it because they thought they had to, because it was part of the story or something, and you need to see that before you saw Endgame. And I know that's true because that's exactly what I did. I didn't want to see it. I wasn't interested in seeing it, but I was scared I'd miss something. So what I did was I bought a ticket to Alita, and then I went into the cinema for Captain Marvel, and I went through a couple, and I looked, and there was basically no one in them, even though it was supposed to be sold out. So that whole story about that, I saw that for myself as well. So it was just really weird, and we knew, and I hate that I sometimes agree with the grifters and everything, but we knew that this film was going to do really bad, and even if it had been done before the that I can't mention, from 2020 onwards, if it had been done before March of 2020, released before then, it still wouldn't have made $1 billion. There's no way, the Disney or whoever made these, Marvel, knew that's why Captain Marvel did so well. They knew if they did a Captain Marvel 2, it wouldn't make any money. So they did the Marvels and spun it from or into the TV shows as well to try and get it up. And yeah, it was obvious it wasn't going to do well. Now the reviews are basically saying it's okay. It's not bad. It's better than Captain Marvel. But it's just sort of okay. It's other people are saying it's really fun. Some people are saying it's too short. That it's obviously had a lot of reshooting, and parts of it don't make sense. Or you really feel there are things that are missing that should have been there, and sounds like a bit of a mess. But they keep talking about the cast, and if they had a longer movie, and everyone talks about how short this movie is. I think it's an hour and 45 minutes, but because so many of these Marvel films go for 2 hours or 3 hours, it does seem short by comparison. Lord knows they actually make a 90-minute movie someday. But people are saying if we had more time with the characters, I think it would have helped the film, because everyone loved the characters and loved the interaction between them, and there was a lot of humour and fun and things that worked. But the villain apparently is pointless, and she's just a copy of another villain. But I don't know anything about Captain Marvel's comic history, so I can't really comment on that. There are accusations of race swapping and all the usual, but it's a Marvel film. I mean, it's really only race swapping if you're changing an established character that you've already established in that medium. So if you have a TV show and then you change, like with Star Trek, where they established one character was like a blonde white guy in the original series, but then they made him an Asian guy. In Strange New Worlds, I'm like, did he change his race like 5 years from now? Did he decide he identified as white? And that's the sort of thing that you can't sort of get away with. But when you're creating a new universe, like the cinematic Marvel universe, and you want to make a character that was white in the comic black, I don't see a problem with that. And I don't understand why people get upset with that. If they did it within the same comic, or if they did it within the same film series, like they already established them as white and then they changed them to black, that, because you see that and it takes you out of the film. But anything other than that, so the idea of this character is a black woman instead of, I guess, was a white man once, I'm not really bothered by that. I don't think that affects it, but apparently she's just boring and not threatening and dull. And I'm like, well, you can't have that. Your villains need to be scary or, over the top. There has to be something about them that is intimidating or memorable. You can't just have them be some people saying they couldn't even remember her name, and I'm like, I don't even know who the villain is. Was there a villain? I didn't know there was a villain. I just knew there was like the cat and Brie Larson and the other two, and they're swapping their powers, and they're, I don't know. That's part of the problem, the marketing. I have no idea what the film's about. I'm not going to watch it. I'll eventually buy it on DVD and watch it one day, but I'm certainly not going to the cinema, and I can't see myself paying to see it. So, because I'm a completionist or whatever, so I will end up owning all the Marvel films on DVD at some point. But just because they're like a collection. But yeah. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Yeah, so the Marvels is basically projected to make less than The Flash and Ant-Man and so forth. So it's looking pretty bad, but not a surprise.